All right, shalom, shalom. This the brother Nahari from the GMS New Orleans camp. And before I get started, I want to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakagodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect. All right, and for this quick video, I just want to speak about the term, the condition of the battle, right? Because as you may hear it, all throughout Israel, brothers on videos, camps, we always speak about the condition of the battle, okay? So for this quick lesson, I'm just going to be speaking on what that may entail, for some people who may not know, okay? But I'm going to start off with 2nd Esdras 7 and 57. It says, Then answered he me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, right? And that man, because the only men who the condition of the battle applies to are the men of the Lord, right? Because this truth that we're in is a battle, it's a fight, okay? Which that's going to lead me to my next precept. Well, I'm going to read verse 58. It says that if he overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, but if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say, all right? And this is speaking of we overcome, all right, this battle or get the victory, all right? Keep going in the faith, all right, until we receive our crown. That's ultimately the victory, okay? But the point is in verse 7, and I'm gonna get this right quick. Bear with me. This is Salaki. Where is it? Is Ephesians should be Salaki. I found it. This is 2 Timothy 2 and I'll start at verse 3. It says, Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Alright, because we're in a battle. That's that fight. It says verse 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. Alright. So what comes with being a soldier, or the condition of the battle, the condition of being a soldier, is putting off these worldly affairs that we have, and putting the battle first. Okay, when you think about a true soldier, who's actually trying to get the victory, he can't be entangled with the things that's going on in the world. Okay, when you on the battlefield and you a soldier, you fighting for your life, you fighting for your comrades. Okay, we can't be worried about what's going on at home. Okay, these different cares of life that we have. For the most part, when you become a soldier, your purpose, the battle has to be the main thing. So this truth for the men of the Lord, it has to be the main thing for us, this fight. Because soon as our mind leaves our focus on a fight, then we're done. That's when we lose. Okay. So this is Romans 12. Romans 12 and 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service, right? But the point is, it says that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, and in the condition of the battle, being those soldiers, that's what we do. right? We sacrifice our whole selves, our whole lives, so much of our time, to our purpose, serving the Most High. It says that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, so like a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. All right. So this is our reasonable service. Okay. We owe the Lord everything. We owe the Lord our lives. So that's why when we enter this battle or this fight, we have to give it everything we have, everything that's in us. Okay. You see if there's verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world. All right. Be not one with this world and one mind with this world. Okay. But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yeah, so when we come into this truth, our minds have to be transformed into the soldiers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? We become unlike these people, in the world. Our mind becomes focused on the purpose of what the Lord have set out for us. Okay? Which is ultimately this crown. The crowns we're trying to receive. All right? Fulfilling the Most High's will. All right, that's our purpose. That's this fight. It says that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Right? But yeah, so we have to be transformed to a whole new person. All right? We have to be transformed into a soldier. All right? Constantly fighting. Okay? And it don't just, it's a whole lot that comes with it. It don't just stop there. This is Mark 8 and let me see. Mark 8 and 35. Well, I'll start at verse 34. It says, and when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. All right. And that's part of being, presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice. All right. Denying ourselves, denying the aspirations or whatever we had in the world, the things that we wanted to do, the goals that we had. All right. Denying ourselves, that we may follow Yahweh Shai, that we may complete the mission. Verse 35, it says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. All right, and that's talking about this life, right? The life that you can obtain by living in the world, okay? It says, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. Okay, so we lose this life. We cast this life away, the life of the world, and come into the truth in order to save our lives. We come into this fight, this battle to save our lives, because once we complete this battle and we get the victory, all right, that's how we get, once we complete the battle, we get salvation, all right, and then we get a crown. So that's how we save our lives, by losing this life, all right, on this side in the world, our worldly lives, okay? Verse 36, it says, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Right. So that's our our aspiration, okay? Not to gain the whole world, all right, to cast it away, to cast it behind us, okay? Because it don't profit us to gain the world, all right, and then we lose our soul, because this truth is the only way. That's the way of life. That's the way of living, okay? But this is right fast. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. For this is the whole duty of man. All right. So all in all, being an Israelite, all right, if you of Israelite descent, all right, the conclusion of the whole matter, all right, so the purpose, of our life is to fear the Most High and keep His commandments, right? If you're born an Israelite, you're obligated to that commandment. So how much more the men of the Lord, right? Because we know 2/3 of our people aren't going to get it on this side. All right, so when you're a man of the Lord, all right, this is our duty. All right, soldiers, they have a duty to carry out. So we're carrying out the will of the Lord, all right, what He proposed for us to do. That's our whole duty. That's part of this fight. That's part of the condition of the battle. Okay? But this is oh shit. This is Job 38. Job 38 and 3. It says, "Gird up now thy loins like a man, for I will demand of thee, and answer thou me." Right, so we gotta gird up our loins, okay, like a man, because coming into this truth, becoming a soldier, and I'm gonna keep saying it, a soldier for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, all right, the Lord has something, that He demands of us, okay? He demands us, all right, to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, all right, to present our bodies as a living sacrifice. That's part of the condition of this battle, all right? And in that Mark 8, I just read, it said we had to, take up our cross, all right? We got to take up our burdens or whatever like that and gird our loins up, all right, and come to the fight and fight with everything we have, all right? So this is, I think did I bring out 2 Timothy? I believe I did. This is 1 Timothy. It's a lot here. 1 Timothy 6 and 12. All right. It says, "Fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life." Right. So this is that in that battle or this fight. All right. This is where we. It's a lot. They got all kind of traffic or whatever going on out here. I'm gonna read it over. 1 Timothy 6 and 12. It says, "Fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life." All right, in this battle, us being soldiers, all right, this is a fight of faith, because the Lord is constantly, continuously, all right, trying our faith. If we able to keep our faith, all right, through our trials, all right, then what? We get salvation. We get the victory. All right. At being soldiers of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we gotta understand that our faith, all right, is what's gonna propel us, because we're gonna fall short. All right, we're not perfect. We can't keep the law, statutes, and commandments perfect on this side. All right, our faith is what's gonna bridge the gap. All right, to get the salvation. Okay. It says, "Fight the good fight of faith, lay hold on eternal life." Right. That's what's gonna get us eternal life. That's what's gonna get us immortality. All right, fighting this good fight of faith. All right, as a soldier, but keeping the faith. It says, "Whereunto thou art also called." Read that one more time. "Whereunto thou art also called." All right, we've been called to this battle, handpicked by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, and it says, "And has professed a good profession before many witnesses." All right, those soldiers. All right, so that's what this is all about, man. Fighting that good fight of faith, having faith as a soldier. All right, going into this battle, all right, having a sense of optimism, believing that we can achieve this, get the victory, get the win. All right, by the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, that's that fight of faith, a battle of faith. Okay, but this is I'll get a couple more, and that'll kind of be it. This is Matthew 12. Matthew 12 and 46. Let me see. Matthew 12 and 46. And this is just some background on this. This is just an account of Yahushai, standing on business, for the business of the Lord, putting the business of the Lord first, Matthew 12 and 46, it says, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. So they was inquiring, looking for Yahushua, right? Verse 48, it says, but he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. All right. And if somebody was to read that today, that would be offensive, to the people of the world. All right. Because Yahushua was so focused, and dedicated towards the will of the Most High. He said, the men of the people, who believe on Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that's who his true brethren is. That's who his true family is. Okay, that was a soldier-like mentality that he had, right? Cause when you in that fight and you on that field, your family that's back at home, they can't save you, they can't do nothing for you, but the men on side you, that's who you fighting that fight with, right? So that's who you're at that time. In this fight that we fight, our brethren, our family is the brothers. It's the friends of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. That's who our family is. Okay, so that's another thing, another aspect of the condition of the battle. Okay, our family are the ones who are fighting this fight with us. Our true family spiritually, right? In Proverbs, so I'm gonna just get it. Not to get off topic, but just since I'm speaking on it, I'll just get it right fast. Proverbs 17 and 17, it says, a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. All right. And that friend or that brother spiritually, is our fellow brethren in this ministry. The men who serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because when we in this fight together, we in this battle together, we help lift each other up, right? We give comfort to one another via the scriptures, right? Through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, or whatever. Even if it's just, a little checkup or a phone call here and there, right? But the point is, we're in this fight together, okay? And this is the last, I guess I'll end it on this. This is Luke 2. Luke 2 and 40. Salaki, bear with me. Con. Yeah, and this is another account, going on Yahushai, and how much, zeal he had even as a child. But this Luke 2 and 40, it says, and the child grew and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of the Most High was upon him. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover, and when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast. And when they had fulfilled the days, as they returned, the child Yahushua tarried behind in Jerusalem, and Joseph and his mother knew not of it. So Yahushua stayed back. And Joseph and Mary, they didn't know. Verse 44. But they, supposing him to have been in the company, went a day's journey, and they sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintance, but he wasn't with him. Okay. Verse 45, it says, and when they found him not, they turned back again to Jerusalem, seeking him. And it came to pass that after 3 days, they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. All right, so Yahushua was inquiring. It says, and all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Was ye not that I must be about my father's business? Okay. And Yahweh Shai, he was about his father's business. All right. He was that perfect example, all right, that prototype of being a perfect soldier for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know, even as a child, he told his parents what? I'm about my father's business. All right. But that's part of the condition of the battle. Being about the business. Standing on the business of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's part of this fight. Okay. That's that's the first and foremost, the most important thing, the principal thing. Right? Shit. Yeah, but that's pretty much the point. Like this, this condition of the battle it requires us to, I'll get one more. So like I'm kind of, all over the place, but this is Colossians 3, and I'll start at verse 3. It says, for ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High. Right? So when we come in this truth, our life, our worldly life, that old man, we have to put him off. It becomes dead to us. It says, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in the Most High. Right? Our, that new person we become. Right? Where we set our, as it says in the verse 2, I'll just read it. Set your affection on things above, not on things on earth. All right, when we cast off that, that worldly man and those worldly cares and desires, all right, we set our affections on the things above, not on the things on earth. All right, that's part of, going to war, being in that fight. All right, when you go to war and you go to battle, like I mentioned before, all right, we're not worrying about what's going on at home. Okay, that's not at the forefront of our minds, even if we, may worry about it a little bit. The cares of the world, all right, that's not what's at the forefront of our mind. Our mind is to win a battle, the fight. All right, that's what we're truly worried about, because, that's what really matters. All right, the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, that's what we're in this fight for. Okay. It says, verse 4, when Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Right? So when we complete that, when we finish the battle and we fought the good fight of faith, right? Then it says we shall appear with Yahweh Shai in glory. All right? That's when we get the victory. All right? But the point is, all right, to fight the fight, keep the main thing, all right? And cast our worldly, that worldly man, our worldly desires behind us. All right? We'll worry about the things of the world when we get the victory. Okay? Right now we fighting for immortality, dominion. Okay? And then we're going to have everything we need, everything we want. All right? We got to become a king. We have crowns laid up for us. Okay? So that's the condition of the battle. But we got to let everything go for the most part on this side. All right? And keep the battle that we're in at the forefront of our mind. All right? Because as soon as we, fall away from our focus, all right, then we could be taken out easily. Okay? But that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, this quick lesson was edifying and to the point. But before I end it, I want to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect. Shalom.